What's up, guys? So today we're taking a look at some of the best pre-built gaming PCs on the market right now under $1,000 as we head into the holiday season of 2023. So if you're looking to buy a pre-built gaming PC for yourself, or maybe it's a child or a friend at that $1,000 price point or below, these are the best builds that you're going to be able to find right now. So to start things off, we're looking at the SkyTech Gaming Nebula PC, currently on Amazon for $849. Now, the hardware inside of this thing at this $850 price point is pretty impressive. So we're getting an i5-13400F. We're also looking at an RTX 4060, 1TB NVMe SSD, 16 gigs of DDR4 running at 3200 megahertz, and a 600 watt gold PSU that allows you to potentially upgrade either the CPU or the GPU down the line. And we're also getting Windows 11. So all in all, that is some pretty good hardware. The i5-13400F is a 6-core CPU, kind of the perfect CPU to match up with the RTX 4060. You don't need super crazy performance on the CPU to really max out the likes of an RTX 4060. The 4060 itself, you're going to get a little bit more performance than the 3060, which, the price points of buying a 4060 for yourself to build a PC right now, maybe not the best, but inside of a pre-built at the $850 price point, it's definitely a pretty good deal for a 4060. The 1TB NVMe is also nice to have just from a storage perspective. Now we are limited with the DDR4 RAM versus DDR5 with the 13th generation CPU, but it shouldn't really do anything crazy from a performance perspective. You might lose a percentage or a quarter of a percentage in terms of performance on the CPU running on DDR4 versus DDR5, and the 600 watt PSU is nice in case you want to upgrade. And overall, this PC looks really, really nice. And not only from a looks perspective, but also from a temperature perspective, this thing should be pretty good. So plenty of ventilation on the front of the case with those triple RGB fans. And then when it comes to the interior of the case, not the craziest cooling setup that you're going to see in a gaming PC, but it should be plenty fine for the 13400F. And overall, it's nice to have the 4 included fans, all the hardware. You are getting an M-ATX motherboard, but besides running the graphics card, you can still throw in another small, either 1X or 4X card inside of this PC with this M-ATX board. But overall, I really like the look of this PC, and overall the cooling should be very, very good. Plenty of ventilation on this case. So this is kind of my best build, or the number one PC that I would recommend right now at this $850 price point to get a 4060 and a 13th gen CPU that you're not really gonna have to touch or upgrade, but you still can because you have that 600 watt power supply. It is a very, very nice build. But let's take a look at our second cheapest option as we head into the holiday season, which is this $859 HP Victus 15 liter. And I featured the HP Victus 15 liter plenty on the channel. It's really a balance of lacking temperature performance as well as upgradability down the line, but getting really, really good hardware specs inside of a small form factor case. So with the HP Victus 15 liter in this particular configuration, we're looking at a Ryzen 7 5700G. So it has the built-in APU, which is nice. It's also a Ryzen 7 series. So you're getting 8 cores. Overall, a very, very nice CPU, slightly higher performing than that 13400F. We're also looking at an RTX 4060 and 16 gigs of DDR4 memory. So again, DDR4, not going to be a crazy issue when it comes to performance. And then we're also looking at a little bit of upgraded storage to that 512 gig NVMe. You could upgrade it to a terabyte, but it's going to cost you a little bit much. You're probably better off just upgrading it yourself down the line. You might even want to just get the 256 gig for $70 cheaper, get yourself under $800, and then to get a terabyte NVMe SSD these days, very, very cheap. You might just want to upgrade that yourself. And then when it comes to the graphics card, of course, we have that RTX 4060, but you could also upgrade to, let's say, a 6600 XT or even a 3060 Ti if you wanted maybe a little bit more performance. But for the likes of this build at $790, it's a pretty good option to get really respectable hardware at a much cheaper price because you're going with that lack of upgradability, lack of temperature control inside of a case like the 15 liter HP Victus. Overall, a pretty good build, maybe not the most recommended just from an upgradability perspective, but if you wanted something that's cheap, still performs really, really well with the hardware inside of it, this is a great option. And then moving on to probably the best build right now that you can buy, but it is on sale and I don't know how long this sale is going to last. So this is a $900 Cyberpower PC. It's the Gamer Master and it's got an RTX 4060 Ti in it. So you're getting really, really, really good specs inside of this build. We have the Ryzen 7 5700, not a 5700X, but still 8 cores, 16 threads, plenty of performance, 16 gigs of memory, and that RTX 4060 Ti, along with 2 terabyte SSD. So for an extra $50 compared to the SkyTech Nebula, this is a really, really, really good build. Of course, it's 20% off, so it's not going to last forever at this price point. The one thing that kind of lacks with this build is definitely the ventilation on the front of the case. So you can see here that there's not crazy amount of airflow that can get through these really, really tiny pinholes on the front of the case. But overall, I mean, it is perforated all the way across the front panel. You should get decent performance in terms of temperatures on that 5700 and the RTX 4060 Ti. You also do have some ventilation up at the top if you wanted to install some exhaust fans as well. Overall, it's a really, really good looking computer. You got the 2 RGB fans at the front. This is a Fantex case just with a different front panel on it. We're also getting, of course, the RGB CPU cooler. You get the fan at the back. So pretty good setup when it comes to fans out of the box. I don't love the ketchup and mustard cables from the PSU, but it's not a kind of super, bad selling feature of this build. You can also always cover those up, always get cable extenders to make it look a little bit nicer. And again, you do get an MATX motherboard like you are getting with the SkyTech Nebula as well. So it limits a little bit of upgradability down the line, but this thing is plenty upgradable as well. So this is a really, really good option if you want pure performance with that RTX 4060 Ti at a $900 price point. Of course, it is on sale, so I don't know how long this is going to last, but if you can get this build right now, it's a really, really good option. And last but not least, we have the NZXT Player One PC. So this is another $899 option, but we are definitely going to see a drop down in specs. But the thing with this build is that it's all off-the-shelf components. It's all NZXT components in terms of the case and the overall aesthetic of this build. It's a really, really good-looking PC. Of course, in the NZXT H510 case. Overall, yeah, you're kind of buying this thing more for looks and aesthetics than you are for pure performance. We got the i5-12400F in terms of a CPU, so a last-gen version of what's in the SkyTech Nebula. We're also getting an RTX 4060, 16 gigs of DDR4 running at 3200, and a 500 gig NVMe SSD. But compared to the SkyTech Nebula, you're really paying for the extra aesthetics of this NZXT build rather than performance. You're getting pretty much the same hardware. A 12400F is very, very comparable to a 13400F, but you're getting it from an NZXT versus SkyTech bought through Amazon. Overall, for the $50 cheaper, I would definitely go with the SkyTech. Overall, if I had to pick one of the 4, I would say definitely go for the Cyberpower PC if you're able to find one right now and you're able to get it for this price point. But if you are, maybe you missed the $899, you want something that's maybe going to perform a little bit better in terms of temperatures, I have to say the SkyTech Nebula PC is a extremely good deal. Very, very nice case. Really good setup when it comes to the fans that come inside of this build. And you're getting really good hardware. You're getting that 13400F. You're getting an RTX 4060, good storage, good RAM, and a lot of upgradability potential down the line. So yeah, those are probably the top 4 builds under $1,000 that you can get right now. Honestly, under $900 that you can get right now as we head towards the holidays in 2023. But I'm interested to hear your guys' perspective. What do you think is the best PC that I went through today? Or maybe you have a different option that I didn't cover in this video. If you do, leave all those comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, get subscribed to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.